Good evening. I'm Chief Meteorologist Paul Williams. We're reporting live right now from the First Alert Weather Center, and we are trying to keep you updated on what's happening with the blizzard of 2026. Now, quickly, we want to get cut to the chase of what you want to look at right now. We're continuing to give you the latest snowfall measurement, and please keep in mind that these indeed are fluid because we are still tabulating the snow as it continues to fall approximately at a rate of 1 to 1.5 inches per hour. Harbison, beyond 3.5, in fact 3.7 inches of snow right now. In Milton, we've recorded 3 inches here, as well as Belltown. We still have snow that's coming down pretty steadily in Harrington, 3.2. Observation from one of our colleagues, we have 3.75 in Felton, and then in Bethel, we've already gone past 2 inches there. In other locations, for example, in Nassau, the official site indicating 3.1, and Lewis Bethany Beach, both at about 2.5 actually. Dagsboro, 2, Millsboro, 2.1, 1.5 in Ellendale at the very least, Laurel Seaford, as well as Bridgeville. Now, we've augmented our expectation as far as the forecast is concerned. Understand what's been happening. This storm began to track a little bit closer than initially thought Thursday and Friday's run. We augmented it on Friday, went up even more so, and we continue to upgrade this because not only did it move locations, but it began to expand. It literally began to swell into something that looks very similar to a tropical storm during the summer months. And the outer bands that you would think of for a tropical storm, well, we have outer bands of that as it pertains to snow bands. It's going to continue to just hit our shore over and over again. So we have expanded it to 10 to 18 inches expected from the potential snowfall for this evening going into tomorrow. Now, we also saw it change over a lot quicker and a lot earlier than initially thought. This storm has absolutely refused to behave according to the rules that were set together for us with the early runs. In other words, it's growing and morphing at its own will and behest. That being the case, let's take a look at the latest blizzard warning. And we had someone that called in. Let me clarify something. Blizzard warnings are given or issued from the National Weather Service. And that means that we are concerned about at least 6 inches of snow with at the very least 34 mile per hour wind gusts on a pretty steady basis for over a 3-hour period. And we actually have some of the wind gusts that we've just picked up and measured, so we've crossed that threshold already, and that's why the National Weather Service has issued a blizzard warning. Now, we also have winter storm warnings in effect for our area in general, but when we're talking about blizzards, we're talking about the problem of the wind combined with the snow and causing hazardous, absolutely unbearable conditions on the road, and drifting snow is a concern. So we have blizzard warnings that are activated for the entire Delmarva Peninsula. That will stay in effect starting now, and now has been extended to about 6 o'clock in the afternoon. It looks like we're listening. I'm listening right now. I'm going to show you what's going on right here. You see this? My light is blinking on and off as if we're having a power situation, and I'm hearing some alarms. Maddie? Is there anything that's happening there? I'm live on the air right now, but it looks like we're having a little bit of a power surge over here. Everything else okay in the studio? Okay, we're literally, some wires have been knocked down. Okay, good. It could be the battery, but we're also getting word that some wires have been knocked down nearby as well. So we're looking at a combination of those things. So when you take a look at our blizzard warning, it is in effect for Caroline, Kent, all the way towards Hurlock, Cambridge, Bucktown, and all of these locations. Then we also have that blizzard warning that's active for us for Berlin, Snow Hill, George Island, Landing, all the way down towards Chincoteague. Once again, we're concerned about drifting snow. Now, here's what we're expecting for the rest of the night. You see how those arrows are pointing and moving very steadily from the north to the south? We are seeing that with that, we are seeing that the winds are really picking up momentum. So when you see red arrows, that's when we're talking about in excess of about 40 to 45 mile per hour wind gusts expected by 10:30 in the evening. Now, as we progress throughout 4 o'clock, 4:30, as you see at the top left of your corner of your screen, that's indicating that we're going to stay at about 33 degrees and the snow is going to stay active and falling pretty steadily. Then the winds are going to shift out of the northwest, and then by 11 o'clock, the snow should come to an end for places like Seaford, Del Mar, and Salisbury. Then there's concern on the beaches. 9 o'clock, we see that the winds are pouring steadily out of the north. Those are the arrows you see coming from the north or the top of your screen down to the bottom. 33 in Lewis, 35 Dewey Beach, 34 in Long Neck, and we have that continuing to be the case for us with the winds still staying very active. Remember, this is a combination concern when we're talking about blizzard warnings. The wind as well as the snow. At 2 o'clock in the morning, the winds still stay very active. They shift ever so slightly out of the northwest. Then by 8 o'clock, when we see the sun again, we'll still have some lingering snow showers over Rehoboth Beach, Dewey Beach, Bethany Beach, and along Highway 1 particularly. Now, Highway 113, it looks like we'll be clear of the snow by 8 o'clock Monday. Then the back edge of the bigger system hovers over the beaches a little bit longer than anywhere else. Okay, so we're expecting more in the way of snow accumulation from Rehoboth, Dewey Beach, Bethany Beach, and Fenwick Island, more so than anywhere else. And then we see the boards clear up. Now, I'm taking a look at the most conservative model that we have. This is the one that's giving us the lowest possibility. And for future snow, we're looking at 6.5 inches of snow, at least in Berlin, Selbyville, Fenwick Island, and Ocean City. Then we shift gears over towards Seaford, Georgetown, Ellendale. And Seaford, we're looking for at the minimum 5 inches. 5.8 or near 6 in Georgetown, as well as Ellendale. And once again, that's the quietest model. So when you see all this snow that begins to move across this region, that's as a result of the slow movement. Either purple stays over our neck of the woods until Monday at 8 o'clock in the morning. That's the reason why we have to deal with that. In addition to that, we have what's called a high surf advisory. This is concerning the very gusty winds that we're looking for, really just battling things down with 40 to 50 mile per hour wind gusts, primarily pushing out of the north. And that's going to be a concern at least until mid-morning for Monday. Now, this is for West Ocean City, Gulf Club Shores, Ocean Pines, Ocean City, Edgewater. That we're showing you right now, this is how the winds acted today. And this is just a precursor as to the kind of winds we're expecting down the road. I mean, we had 37 mile per hour wind gusts recorded in Ocean City, 39 Wallops Island. And this was cut off at about 5 o'clock this afternoon. And the winds have picked up since then. Now, this is a look right here at power outages. Now, you see where the yellow is in Lewis as it's going across Highway 24 and 54? This is where we're seeing some isolated power outages, and we're expecting by about 8:30 because of the combination of the winds that we anticipate. So this is a very specified map that gives us the expectation for power outages by 8:30. So if you're in the Lewis area, if you live along 24 where it connects to 13, and then along 54, just north of Ocean Pines, and then folks near Willard may have some problems. By 11 o'clock tonight, we're looking for the isolated power outages to be along Highway 113 as you travel down towards Ocean Pines, Ocean View, and then south on Highway 1 until you get to the connection of 113 and 1, just shy of Highway 90. And then 3 o'clock in the morning, we're looking for power outages primarily in Lewis, believe it or not, as a result of that. Now, Monday morning, as we still have the steadfastness of those winds coming out of the northwest, this is where that yellow, see that yellow, we're talking about isolated future outages. This is a forecasted future outages in our area. That covers if you live along Highway 24 or 8 o'clock in the morning Monday, 54 as you go from 30 towards Highway 1, just on the most southern borders of Sussex County. And this also includes Willards along Highway 50, all right? So peak wind gusts that we recorded today, we had 37 mile per hour wind gusts in Indian River Inlet, Rehoboth Beach, 34 mile per hour gust. We had a 30 mile per hour gust in Bethany Beach, and some pretty respectable gusty winds that caused some concerns with high waves. We actually saw that on one of our social media posts with Emma Aiken as she began to highlight during the daylight hours just how significant those winds were. And then those winds are going to begin to shift a little bit quicker going to our south. Now, watches and warnings that are the undertone of some other things and other concerns we'll have. For coastal flooding, we have a coastal flood warning in effect for Sussex that stays in effect until early Monday morning. We're possibly going to see 1 to 2 feet rise in water, especially at high tide. With that information, and a lot of times it's easy to lose the focus on other possibilities or problems connected with a snowstorm. We are also taking a look at the future waves. So you'll notice the orange next to, on the middle and the left part of your screen, that's indicating 8 to possibly 9 foot waves. Now the darker orange is indicating 10, and the darker red would be near 12. Now we're going to see it subside a little bit back down to 8 feet for south of Ocean View at 6 o'clock in the morning. Then we go back down from 8 down to perhaps 7 to 6 feet for our location. Now you'll notice how we're going to see that surge after midnight, right about 3:30 in the morning, we'll see that surge that's going to hit Ocean Pines, Ocean View, and Ocean City. Watch for the flooding to happen there, and that's also why we have that active warning that's in effect for that part of our viewing area. So just as a precursor and as a rewind here, we are looking for 10 to 8 inches of snow for Delmarva Peninsula at large for the most part. Now to the south near Chincoteague, Highway 13,